All right, guys, we're back for a new year. New. Oh, it's not even the new year yet. It's Supercoach just opened about a week ago. Been messing around with the team a little bit to see what I like and what you can do this year. This is kind of just the consensus I've came down to. It's been, like I said, about a week, maybe closer to 10 days now. We'll go through the team. This is the second time I'm recording this. I didn't have the mic on last time. Alright, so starting off defence. Probably the easiest line this year. I think there's like two templates for it. Actually, maybe the midfield line is the easiest, but I'm going with is the three premium options: Lloyd, Hall, Ridley. I don't think you can go wrong with pretty much anyone in this like price range. I think Lloyd is going to fall in price. So if say you want to go Hall D1 and then maybe chuck in a Whitfield or something like that, maybe a Crisp. I don't think that's necessarily bad. It's just Lloyd's so consistent. He's pretty much the best defender every year, like more times than not. Dawson's gone also from Sydney, so that whole battle for kickouts not there so much this year. Last year that was a like main hamper to his scoring. That should be gone. I don't really see anyone taking those kicks. Maybe like I think Hewitt stayed. Maybe I don't know. The Sydney defensive line not too great apart from Lloyd. Like there's no real big names. It's kind of like a scheme thing. That's how they win. Hall was great last year. There's really no reason why his role should change. Like honestly, no reason. North were winning with him in that like second half of the year when he came back. That role where he just gets the ball and does whatever he wants with it. Honestly, like feed him the ball. High touches, high efficiency. Kind of 50-50 kickouts with Zeeble. We'll see how that goes this year with a couple of rookies coming in, see how they change their back line. Luke McDonald should be fit now. There's a lot going on back there, so we'll see. But I think it is a much higher chance that Hall keeps the same position he did last year, same kind of game plan, and everything that was going on, rather than they change him up. I can't see that really happening. And then Ridley. Ridley is this spot is where a lot of people are putting Whitfield. I don't honestly like. There's probably no problem with Whitfield. When you play around like injuries and stuff like that, it can go two ways. Either you get the player and he does get injured because he has an injury history, or he just doesn't. Like that's completely possible. He could just play all 22 games for whatever reason. Maybe just doesn't end up in a scenario where he gets hurt, right? Anything can happen. It's just a matter of do you want to put yourself and your team in a spot where you are less likely for something like that to happen. And I don't know who I'd say is actually the better player of Whitfield and Ridley. Short-term bias tells me Ridley's better. Ridley was really good last year. That first half of the year, maybe it was about 7-8 rounds where he just wouldn't leave the field. He was playing 100% time on ground every game. Then he got hurt. Then he kind of rushed back. Picked up a couple of minor injuries just throughout the season, and was starting to lose that role. He was becoming more locked down, which just isn't great for Supercoach. But yeah, in his proper role, he takes kickouts, plays a lot of time on ground, good efficiency. I don't see a problem here. He was like the leading intercept marker for like 10 rounds or something like that, so that's great for Supercoach. A couple of intercept marks with kick-ins and stuff. It's almost the ideal defender for Supercoach. I'll take it. This is just the first team, remember, right? Like, Crisp is also good as D3, maybe even D2. yeah, there's a lot of options here. I'm very happy with the options in defense this year. It's probably like, again, midfield's probably my favorite line, but I just among friends we've got like 4 different variations of this. Like, maybe we all have Lloyd, but we don't all have Ridley. I like the separate strategies people can go with. I don't know, I find that cool. And then we've got the pod player that I've got here, who, I said I'm not starting a Richmond player. Still, probably not going to start him, but this is just a purely see how the preseason goes. If I see that he has that halfback role, or like that pseudo halfback role, it was like defensive wing, something like that. It was weird. It was kind of like off to the corner. Maybe there's a word for that. I don't know it. Good touches. He was, like they were using him to advance the ball, which is really the only type of Richmond player you want. That's why Short was so good, because they were using him to advance the ball. That's why Dusty, when he's in form, is good, because they use him to advance the ball. That's just really the only form of Richmond player you want. You don't want... Hooley was also used for that. Kind of just the other players on the team. Shea Bolton was stuck in that position where like he wasn't being used, so he was just running around, kind of doing nothing, hoping the ball would come to him instead of he gets the ball to the other people. For 336, there's a lot of ways out of this pick. Number one, which it's probably the most likely I'm going to do, is Rioli to Bruce on the bench as ruck 3. I think playing ruck 3 is a good idea, especially after last year where there was a lot of COVID outs, games postponed, or not so much games postponed, but a lot of late outs and stuff like that. Having a playing ruck 3 in the bye rounds, stuff like that, it's really helpful. Last year we had Ned Reeves, who, he wasn't great, he was nothing special, but he was playing a lot of the time when we didn't need him to, and then when we did need him to, he was injured. I think starting Bruce on the field, not an amazing idea. I think you could get away with it. There's a world where you do. But personally, I wouldn't go for that. I'd say ruck 3 or not in the team. Other ways you can get out of like a Rioli or this mid-price, I count like 300 to say 450 as mid-price. Gresham, Jade Gresham is a good idea for the forward line, or even like as an extra mid. Will Brodie, Freo player, he's a good idea. I think he's a bit more expensive, but Jordan Clark. There are a couple of options here. Constable, I don't think is too bad. He's playing in the Gold Coast now. Gold Coast is kind of just a team that always has a lot of injuries. Rao will go down, Witts goes down. They always have a lot of injuries there. I think there's a couple of options on all the lines. This is just the one that I picked. It's kind of like my pre-season watch type of player. I said no Richmond players, and I said no GWS players, and I've got both of them. One of the Cogs we'll get to him later, but I think his value's just too high to pass up. Just watch and see, I guess. There's not much we can do. Again, this is still 2021. Pre-season isn't even like around the corner. Apart from that, we have a couple of rookies. The only one here that I'm sure is going to play, it's not even, I wouldn't even say it's like above 60% certainty, is De Koning. I think he's the replacement for Henderson in Geelong. He should play, and he's got defensive forward DPP, which is, you don't think it, but it's actually really helpful, especially when making trades. It just gives you an extra player. O'Driscoll, who knows? Skinner, maybe. And Dean, there was like a short, maybe sentence or so that Collingwood was liking his work in the training camps. That's about it. Not too much in defense. I think defense rookies are probably the weakest of all the lines, but we'll see how that goes. Just got to wait, see what articles come out, who's training good, whatever. Then the midfield, the cream of the crop. Probably everyone's favourite players, like Jack Macrae, Jack Steele, Clayton Oliver. Neale, when he's on form, is is just really fun to watch. Who else I'm missing? Took, Bont. I mean, there's heaps of players. I think this is the first year since 2012, I want to say, where we've had so many high averaging midfielders the year before. This year, I think there was 6 midfielders over 115 average. I could check it, I just don't really want to. I want to believe I'm right. There was a lot of midfielders with over a 115 average. The last time that happened was Gary Ablett in his prime, right? You can't pick them all. As you can see, this is a very money-hungry team. I've got literally 0 in the bank. This is using all, 10 million they give you. This is all of it. But we'll go through them. Macrae at 700k, pretty much, 699, that's 700k. I think you got to pick him. He will go down in price, don't get me wrong. He'll put up a game where it's 90 he ends on. Break even will shoot up. He'll drop it a lot. He might drop to at the 600k line. But the issue is that, are you going to take the chance? And he's really hard to bring in mid-season. I've gone through that, not starting him, and then it is a pain to get him in. A lot of people had that last year with Gawn, when they started the Meek and Hunter, or Meek and whoever it was combo. I say start him. I say he is a proven player for Supercoach. Just start him. That's my take on it. Jack Steele, kind of the same situation. You're paying a lot, you are. This, not exactly 700k, but you're closing in on it. But he's proven, after last year and the year before, he's a proven player. His role is Supercoach perfect. He tackles a lot, plays hard, gets a lot of the ball. Main player at St Kilda, good injury history, as in not many injuries. I don't see why you go past this. Vice captain or captain option every week. It's better. You're better safe than sorry, is kind of the overall thing with the midfield. Then we've got Clayton again. It's the same for the 3. I call these the big 3. Took is in there technically on average, but there's a level of provenness that Macrae, Steele and Oliver have that he doesn't have. So I think starting Took is a great idea. I think he probably classifies as a pod. I don't see that many people starting him because of popularity. I think he's a good idea to start. It's just I like my proven players a little bit more. But yeah, Oliver's great. They won the grand final, so that means nothing is changing in their game plan. They are a good chance to go back to back. I don't really see. I think they're going to finish first, either them, Port, or the Dogs as first. But we'll see how the season goes. But Oliver, Petrarca not so much. Petrarca kind of butchers the ball a bit, regular season, then post-season he just goes crazy. I think Oliver is a step ahead of Petrarca, but honestly, if you were to put Petrarca in here, I've had teams where instead of Mitchell I've put Petrarca. That's fine, I wouldn't see a huge issue with that. And then going on to it, we've got Titch here. He is the magnet, the ball magnet. He will always have 30, 40 touches. It depends on how they want to score him for that. He is kind of known for being shortchanged when it comes to score. A lot of that is because they're not contested. A lot of his touches are uncontested. But if you look at the, I want to say final 10 rounds, he was on fire. Like, it was like 130, 140, 130, 140, something like that. You know, he was actually going pretty crazy at the end. That I wanted him, but couldn't afford him. There was no chance. So yeah, I'm thinking about starting him this year. There are a lot of options in this range. They're like 600k. Like I said, Took, Petrarca, Lions, Neale I've got in the team, but he's a bit cheaper. Walsh, I think Walsh is great. Walsh is like, if I was to go for favourite players, I'd probably put Walsh over Titch, but you know, you can't pick all your favourite players. So yeah, for now, Titch is in the team. We'll see how that goes. Not too sure right now. And then at 5, we've got Neale. Coming in at a pretty big injury discount. Like, of course, everyone would say, I'd like it to be more, you know, the Tom Mitchell situation last year where he didn't get a discount for pretty much no reason. It was just a matter of they knew how good he was and they didn't want to give him to people for 400k. That was the issue, right? Or 500k. So Neale getting a pretty big discount. He is like a 650k player when healthy, maybe even 700. If he gets back to that form, this is the pick of the year, honestly. Like, he gets back to that 115, 120 average. He can do it. He's shown it before. That it was like 2 years, wasn't there? Like the COVID year and then the year before. It was just insane, like the Brisbane year. There's not too much to go on this pick. It's just, if there's a preseason injury, I think you got to leave the team. Like, if there's just an article that comes out saying Neale dealing with calf soreness, all right, he's got to leave the team. Because injured Neale is kind of really bad. There's a lot of people around this price as well. Not the big names that are kind of that 650 plus, but I think Chera is up there, who honestly is probably pretty interesting. I think I've put him in a like preseason watch video. New team. Walsh is really the only one he's like going to be competing with. Cripps is just I think he's way past. Like, I think he's on the back 9 of his career, Cripps. They say he either bulked up or slimmed down, depending on the article you read. I think bulk up is the opposite of what you want for Cripps if you're thinking of picking him. You want him to lose a bit of weight. Last year he did come in. Perhaps he wasn't, but on screen he looked a bit overweight for a premium level midfielder. Chera seems good. Off the top of my head, he's the only one I can think of, but 500k is a bit hard to find people that you really like. Neale is kind of the blessing at this point. I think Andrew Brayshaw is around this price. He's obviously a good pick. Time trial king. Fitness is always promoted to be like number 1 in the AFL, but then he struggles for time on ground. I don't understand how that works. I think that's more coaching than him. The premium midfielders, I say, go with the names. Don't take a chance. If there's somewhere that you don't want to put your pod player, your player of difference, don't do it in the midfield. Do it in the forward line, do it in the defence line. Hell, do it in the ruck line. I don't think you should, but whatever. Just don't do it in the midfield. Don't screw around in the midfield. Then we've got like my pod player. After saying all that, this is kind of a Discord bait pick. He's probably not staying. This is going to go to a rookie. Finn Macrae. The Finn Macrae average 100 this year train. I'm on board it. I don't think it's going to happen, but I want to see it happen. A second-year player averaging 100 or close to it is pretty rare. Like, I don't think it's going to happen. Eventually, common sense will prevail, and I'll take him out of the team. But for now, I think it's not too bad. Like, with De Grope out, Nick Dacos in, you got Josh Dacos playing like that half-forward role, maybe a midfield. If he's in the midfield, that becomes a little interesting. Pendlebury, he's like retiring every year. There's not that much midfield competition there. Why can't Finn just walk in and get a fair bit of touches? Someone's got to score on the team. Someone's got to get the touches. You can't finish a game with a whole team with 0 disposals. So someone's got to get them. And you look at his like VFL numbers and areas like that, you'd think that he just walks into the AFL and he's really good, but it didn't happen like that. He actually sucked. But yeah, we'll see. New coach, new players, we'll see. Eventually common sense will prevail. I'll take him out. Dacos, I think he's, of the 2 rookies, or top 3, you had Horn Francis, Sam Darcy, and Nick Dacos. I think Dacos is easily the better of the 3, for Supercoach at least. Maybe Horn Francis goes on to be like the best, player, as in wins the most. But I think Dacos for Supercoach will be the best. Collingwood, again, not much in the midfield to compete with. Like Taylor Adams, something like that. But they sometimes chuck him like half back or something like that. They'll find he's not the issue. I think Horn Francis could kind of get pushed out of the midfield at North. It depends on we spent pick number 1 on you. We move the team around you, or we move you around for the team. Nothing has came out yet to show me what's going on with that. So for now, I'd say Dacos over Francis, to the point where I wouldn't even put Francis in your team. I think that not enough out on him to say that he's good for Supercoach. But yeah, he could be good. We'll just got to wait and see for pre-season for rookies. Then we've got Hobbs, who I just put in because he's above basement price. And then the bench. Heard, no idea. I just picked him because his name. Apparently Roberts is a good chance to play for Sydney. He's... What's their developmental league? I think they use the Sandfell or whatever, SA, South Australia one, or the VFL maybe. Apparently his numbers were crazy. He was putting up 30 touches a game and helping the team. So maybe he plays. And then Greg Clark from West Coast social media stuff, I think he'll play. There's a lot of old people at West Coast. They need to play new players, and kind of just good new players. They haven't really had any good rookies in a while. But yeah, apart from that, that's the midfield. Rookies, still got to wait and see. I've seen a couple of people do the 6 premiums. I think one always has to be a discounted premium, like a Jared Berry or something like that, who I think is a good idea. If I had maybe an extra 60, 70k, I'd put him in, but haven't got it. The rucks, no Gawn. I said start Gawn and forget about it. I haven't got Gawn. I think it's possible you could go Grundy out and put Gawn in, but Gawn's 650k, so or 670k I think. I'm gonna go with Darcy and Grundy until I don't, pretty much. Darcy has injuries all the time, but he's the type of person that he's injured but he plays through it. He never has major injuries that make him sit out for a long period of time, and even then it's 20k you got to make up to get the Gawn. It's not too hard. And Grundy post came out saying that he's sick of all the goalie drama and he just wants to get back to playing footy, and he's in the best shape he's been in a long time. Cut his hair or something about his hair. That's enough for me. I've said it a couple of times. Grundy's probably top 3 favourite player in the AFL for me. I don't know why. I just like watching it. That's enough for me. I'll pick him. That's enough. Hopefully it all goes well. Last year I think was just a uncommon off year for Collingwood as a whole. Now they're in a rebuild stage, so they're gonna suck. But yeah, we'll see. And then the forward line, which is just, I mean, a bit of it is just devastation. Like, it sucks. You got Dunkley, Duncan, Taranto, which are like the only big three mids, like mids that play in the forward line for Supercoach. I don't like Taranto. There's Heaney up there. I think Heaney will get injured again and not play midfield. I mean, what are you meant to do? You know, you could go the full mid prices and go Dunkley, Cogs, Curnow, Gresham, Brodie, and then not have to play a rookie on field or something like that. Yeah, this is what I've got for now. I've got Dunkley, who I think should have the highest pick rate. I don't see a reason for him not to. I think once it opens fully, which I think Supercoach opens for everyone early to mid-January, surely Dunkley is the highest picked. He should be anyway. He's like a 130 average player when healthy, puts up video game numbers, has unlimited amount of disposals and tackles and goals and everything. Just pick him. He's captain option, honestly, which captain option in the forward line is pretty rare. Zac Butters, from reports, he's playing preseason. He should play preseason. He's playing in the midfield. He's training with the midfield group, which, that's a good indication that he's playing there. No injury. I think Butters is kind of the Steele of the forward line. Maybe you put that on Cogs, but I think Butters is pretty safe in my team, unless I hear something that we're moving him back to the forward line or to the wing or something like that, then he leaves. But like that before he got injured early in the season, he was putting up some pretty good numbers. I think he had a game of 150. I'll take it. Really depleted forward line, I'll take it. And if it doesn't work out, like I said, Heaney's there, who's playing midfield for the 10th year in a row. We'll see. Duncan is 100k more, but maybe swing someone and make up the 100k. When I get rid of, say I go Rioli to a rookie, that's 200k in the bank, so I can do that. Butters, I don't think the risk is as big as you'd think with the pick. Then we've got Cogs, who is always injured. Hopefully this year he gets over it. It looked like he was going through a bit mentally with the whole captaincy situation there. Hopefully he's past that. Not even talking Supercoach. Hopefully as a person he's actually past that. It did look rough for a minute, especially in the AFL documentary. Now they're running this 3-captain scheme where it's Cogs, Toby, and Callie. I don't know what's going on there. It's a tough situation, GWS. I think their coach in whose name I've forgotten, but I've said it 100 times. He's not great as a people person or an AFL coach. I think Cogs is an alright captain of a team. I think he could get better, but it is what it is. And Cogs, in terms of Supercoach, when he's on fire, he's on fire. He had that good year where he averaged 120 pre-injury, and the injury was a 0 game, so it plummeted his average. He had a good year. And then we've got Curnow at 224. Hopefully this is just the Danaher situation. Comes in, hits that kind of forward scoring, puts up 60, 70 a game. You can run him F7 if there's no one else all year. Like the F6, F7, you rotate him with the bench. Hopefully that's the situation. I don't think it will be. I think he's a bit worse than Danaher, and the situation just isn't built around him. But we'll see. I don't think it's that bad a pick. And Elijah Hollands is a Gold Coast rookie. He was meant to play last year, and they were pretty high on him last year. I remember seeing articles the Hollands and Rail and Rankin and all this. Oh, they're going to be so good. Then Hollands, I think he tore his ACL or MCL. He had some lower body injury. It required surgery. He missed the season. So to get him at 123 this year, whereas I think it was 180 last year, that's pretty good. I think he'll be in most teams. I think he'll be the highest picked 123k rookie. Rookie, even though it's his second year, just he hasn't played yet. Then Sam Butler, I think, plays just because Hawthorn don't have any players. And then the bench, no idea. I just picked two people there. But yeah, that's the team. Kind of went over everyone. Again, this is the first team. This isn't what the team's going to look like on lockout round 1. But we'll see. I think a couple of the picks here are locked in. I think the midfield is kind of locked in. It's just how I want to play around that. We'll see. But yeah, till next time, feel free to put in the comments picks that you've made that you think are out of the box and could have a good year. Yeah, until next time, tasty out.